Well, in the mid-70s, we were living near Toronto, and we were renting our home out, so we were staying at a farmhouse. And we did a little concert around a bonfire, and a woman rushed up afterwards, and she pushed this little pamphlet into my hand saying, Feast of Tabernacles. So I thought, well, I read about a little bit about it in the scripture, but I didn't know, but I had a feeling, oh my goodness, there's something about this. And so we began to study it, you know. And so when we came to Israel, one night we were down by the Western Wall, and we saw the Japanese Makoya group, a Christian group, with Stars of David on their kimonos, and they were worshiping in front of the wall, and they were worshiping in Hebrew. And all of a sudden we said, oh my goodness, this is what it should be. The nation should be coming, and they should be recognizable as to what nation they came from, so that the Israelis would see these are not Jewish people, they're not just ordinary tourists, these are people that have come for a specific purpose to bless God during the Feast of Tabernacles.
Well, the Feast of Tabernacles implies food. And sometimes I put it this way, if you feed the brutes, they'll come, you know. Full Gospel Businessman have an edge on that. I think it's called the Full Businessman's Gospel. Anyway, we saw from the time here, from about 1971, 72 that we came here initially, that period of time in there was a kind of preparation in our own thinking for starting this. So in 1979, we saw that the time was ripe. There was a terrific interest in gaining interest in Israel from the 1967 war, which is this Gideon-esque war, a short time and big victory. And we saw that that in itself brought about a celebration in Israel that was phenomenal. But by 73, when they lost the Yom Kippur War in one sense, the celebration sense was gone, or very reduced. So we've got to have something that encourages Israel to be Israel, rejoicing, celebrating in their land. So we're going to bring a pile of people from all the countries to show them, in fact, they're not alone. This was a common dictum at that time. A lot of the signs we had in the parade, you're not alone, you're not alone. Very important to them.
Yeah, I think that there are many Christians who long for a more, how should I say, real, biblically based celebration during the Feast of Tabernacles, during Sukkot.
For many years now, the evangelical wing, especially the charismatic wing of Christianity, has reached out to support Israel. But we feel now the time is to identify with Israel. That's one step further. And the Jewish people themselves realize that there is something happening there. I can remember when we first were thinking about doing the feast, we went to see a rabbi, Rabbi Pele, here in Jerusalem, to ask him what he would think if Christians started to celebrate the feast. I mean, he could have thrown us out of the room and said, you know, that's our feast, what are you doing with it? And he could have been legitimately right about it. But instead, he just slapped his knee and he said, that's the best news I've ever heard. Because he said, you know, when you people start doing that, that's a sign to us that the Messiah is at the door. In fact, we have a saying, the footsteps of Messiah